just for a bit of contrast, the garden pre-mowing and edging, and then we'll see what it's like after. It's not perfect. It's just a lawnmower. I haven't done the whippersnippering or the strimming. Hopefully you can see it's a lot better. Excuse the traffic noises. The January garden, end of January 2024. Apple tree coming up nicely there. A few bits of colour to the garden there. One of the fruit trees, one of the ones that isn't actually suffering from the leaf curl too much, which is good. Dianthus, I believe. Dianthus. The hollyhock has kind of come to the end of its life. Still got a little bit going to it. So this fruit tree has got fruit. Actually, I'm inclined to think those are actually peaches, which makes sense because that one survived reasonably well also. There's the seed packet dahlias over there. Come around this way. They're doing all right. A little bee there seems to be enjoying them. One of the sunflowers fell over and didn't survive. This one seems to be doing all right. More hollyhocks there. The lupin, which you can see is going to seed here. So I might save that and use that for other things. The miniature snapdragons in there, they're doing okay. And this area is sort of padding out quite nicely. The lobelia looks like it's had a second flush there, which is good. The alyssums still making nice little ground cover there. The nigella finished its run by the looks of it. There were plenty of seeds in there. Gladioli have mostly sort of fallen over, but there you go. There's that. And the gardens on either side of the driveway, their little bits there. Sorry about the traffic. The sunflowers over here have actually grown quite nicely. And obviously need to strim or whippersnip, but that's all doing right now. I'm just going to quickly go over here because I forgot to show it before. The lime tree that looked like it was all but dead, in fact it was actually just seemingly a dry stick before, has come good. I think as much as I put a whole bunch of mulch around that to sort of help it stifle the weeds and give it a bit of nutrients, I actually think it was a leaf miner that caused the issue, because there were signs of it on the lemon tree. Not a lot, but there was a bit, so I think that's actually what it was. Anyway, I shall rejoin you in the back. Excuse the noise. So I've got, of course, got this little back area garden as well. It's starting to come along, the alyssum there, so they should make a nice little filled out section. I quite like the texture of that one. That one has a similar interesting sort of feathery texture, which is quite nice. So some of the things haven't survived, but most of it is doing alright. The veggie patch. So you can see the vining plants are starting to really take off. Oh, lose my balance a bit there. Fairly sure this one's butternut pumpkin, or as you might call it, butternut squash, because there's one just there. So that's coming along nicely. The grape vine, the white grape, is doing exactly what I wanted to. It's starting to grow up over this bit of rebar mesh. The plan is to put another bit down there and hopefully train it up and over there and see how it goes. On this side we have, should be some cucumbers. A bit hard to see, but that's a capsicum in the midst of that. I let these go to flower. I have a feeling they're actually spring onions. Originally I thought they were just plain onions, but I think they're spring onions. But I've let them go to flower and look quite nice, and you might be able to see there. Oop. The bees. Are enjoying that, so that's fine. Now, duck my way, squitch my way through here. I've got some normal onions hanging on a bit there. That one needs to be picked. My kale. I have a feeling that might be. Oh, yeah, actually, I can see that's broccoli. There we go. It's got a bit of broccoli there, so that's good. Self-sown potato, I believe that's doing all right. Now, my corn has been not great. So it's the second or third generation from hybrid, and I think it's starting to show the issues of that, which is that it's been quite patchy in terms of growth. Have a look at this one here, how short it is, but that's got cobs on it. So I have gone to the extent of going out and getting another pack of sweet corn, and we'll see how they do. This row here actually was the last lot from the self-saved corn, so I'll see if it makes a difference if they're all sort of packed together there, because I did have them packed at the recommended distance over here, but they didn't actually come up too well, so I think they might have been nibbled by pests. Now, another thing that might be apparent here is just how full this area is, because I didn't get around to getting rid of the shoots, the side shoots of the tomato plants. They're all indeterminate, but the problem is they started growing and the weather was sort of not anything fancy, and then we had weeks where the Monday would be basically a downpour and then we'd have sun for the rest of it. So I think because of all that, they started to sort of shoot up, and before I knew it, they'd grown massively. So they are as they are. I might sort of trim them a bit more, but they are producing. You can see some tomatoes there, and we've got a mortgage lifter tomato there, so they should be all right anyway. We'll see how they go. The red grape is doing extremely well here and has grown all over the place, so I'll have to move that. I think once the season's over, I might move that to behind the bench. My gooseberry bush is here. I don't think it's producing much. It had one little fruit that went to purple, and that was about it. But it's getting a bit swamped here, so I have to trim these things back. And here is my rhubarb, which is doing all right there, fortunately. And it turns out this tree just here, they're peaches. So I'll let them keep growing. Quite a lot of them. I have actually eaten a couple, which most people would say they weren't ripe, and they weren't, but I don't mind them being a bit sour, so that's fine. And here, let me turn around this way, baby. I've got some leeks, so they're doing all right there. And the last little thing over here is my cauliflower, and I think that might actually be going to seed now that I look at that, so I might harvest that and see what I can do with it. I'll put the leaf over, as all the skilled gardeners seem to do. I'll see if I can duck back through the jungle. Got a carrot or two in there, so that's all right. Now, as regards the green or the white grapes, although really they're green, aren't they? So there we go, there's some in there. I've even had some of those at that size, and they're quite sour. So again, I quite like them, but I will try and leave them to grow on for some more for longer, basically. I'll just duck through all the bits and pieces. So, as you can see, the capsicum there, or the bell pepper, I think. There's watermelon there, which looks like it might actually need a bit of water, funnily enough. So I'll get to that. Another potato. The apricot, which is not producing fruit this year, not surprising after my little accident that harmed it. We've got strawberry. Might just be able to see strawberry in there. Got the raspberries, which I'll do a better job of next year and trim them down, but that's okay. And it looks like another potato, and there's an alpine strawberry in there. Swing around, got a hollyhock there. This improvised structure actually came down the wind, so we have actually had a bit of wind recently, so I might have to redo that. I've kind of dug that one out and put it back in again, so it's hopefully a bit better. That's the store-bought Granny Smith, which nearly produced fruit again, but didn't quite, but I suspect it's still getting used to its location, so that's fine. Now the pond, just see there, what I believe is actually a water lily forming. Actually, might even be able to see another one just there. Get the focus back, so just in there. There's another one. So hopefully we get some flowers there. That'd be nice. I've got this aquatic plant, which is doing quite nicely there as well. It's got more mental blank there. Things that are related to the carnation. I think it is the dianthus. I think is what they were. Another hollyhock. Alison again. Sweet pea, and that's a foxglove. And then we'll ignore the rest of this thing there because that's a mess. It's overgrown. It needs to be dealt with, but so be it. There's a whole bunch of nigella there because it grows very happily pretty much wherever I've put it. So into the greenhouse, trialling growing sweet potatoes. I looked at the thing saying that basically you put them in a bit of water, leave them for a few weeks, and they should start producing shoots. It did mention getting special organic, nature's own, blah 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 sort of ones. These are just ones from the supermarket, so they may not work, they may, but we'll give it a try. And so this actually has the store-bought corn, so it's probably going to need a bit more water in it because it's drying out a bit in here, but we'll see how it goes. This I actually got from Midsummer Festival. They had a special little section which was you can grow your own things, and part of that was decorate your own little pot, so that was nice of them. Here I've got, these are some seeds that I got from my Dahlia African Dawn. I don't know that they were quite ready because I'll flick over here quickly, they hadn't quite dried out, so they're kind of like, actually those are a bit drier. I think those are the seed parts, so it may work, it may not, it doesn't really matter too much. Watermelons is because I had some seeds from the store-bought one, so I'll see how that goes. Eggplant, looks like I'm finally actually getting some of those growing. I've got a cauliflower here ready, well not ready to go out just yet, but at least that's growing. There's another one there that might hopefully take off. My kiwi fruit's doing alright, which is good. I can't remember what that is. That looks like it's probably an orange. This could be a nectarine, could be a plum, could be a peach. Any of the stone fruits that I tend to enjoy eating and things. So this is the greenhouse alpine strawberry, which as you can see is doing quite nicely here. That's good. Pineapple, still growing, so that's good. And now recently potted on this. So this is the avocado that I found in the raised bed. That was basically just the stone and the seed, and a bit of root, which didn't even have leaves to start with, but that has now come on very nicely. I'd say that's another orange tree there, so that's okay. This, I'm not entirely sure what it is. I think it might be passion fruit, only because that's what my little label here says. That doesn't mean it is, though, because I think I've had labels in different things at different times, so we'll see what it turns out as. Doesn't matter, be a bit of a surprise, and it'll be interesting either way. This is the capsicum / bell pepper. Oh, you can see one that's just growing there. That's from at least last year. Yeah, I think it's from last year. It might even be the year before. So that's my overwintered one, as it were. So that'll stay in here probably permanently, I think. I think I'll just keep that as a greenhouse capsicum / pepper plant, and we'll see how it goes. The leftover viburnum, which can stay in here until I might be able to take cuttings of it, and then I may or may not try and keep that hedge going on the other side of the front of the house. Other pineapple there also still seems to be not dead, I'll at least say. More or less in there because I like the smell of those. Another foxglove and a hollyhock, which I was growing in here before I realised how big they get. So that'll be interesting. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's the greenhouse at present. So I'm just going to stop it for a moment because there's a messy bit between here and the backyard, and we'll catch you up there. Okay, so this is the backyard that is right out the back door, essentially. So I've got some more, it's either sugar snap peas or snow peas growing here. So hopefully I can train them up there, although it's clearly going over this way at the moment, but that's okay. I don't remember what one this is, but it's got a nice lot of flowers coming out there. There's the Johnny Jump Up in amongst everything there. Some poppies. And this sunflower has some extra ones with it. So that's a nice bit of bonus. There was one here, it had basically snapped and it wasn't doing so well, so I broke it off completely and I put that into the garden as composting material. But then we have this one here as an example. That's my hand, so clearly a big one, as they say. And here we have the previously mentioned dahlia. I'm pretty sure it's called African Dawn. So there's a lovely sort of colour to that as that's coming out. So that's starting to pick up a bit there, which is good. Now, duck in here a bit. Now there was oh yeah, there's the hebe. That looks like that's probably one of the lettuce plants going to seed, so I might end up pulling that out. I've actually pulled out a bunch around that way, which we'll see in a moment, and I'm kind of using that as a mulch slash a bit of compost for the garden. I think that's working quite well. That looks like that's mostly focused on my hand, that's not helpful. There, I believe that's a dahlia, which is from seed from last year's ones, from the ones in the front yard. I did actually get some kind of accidentally saved seeds from that had dried out, and I picked them up and I could probably use those. Turns out, yes I could. And we have another sunflower with some little ones on it. So that's the main part of it. But yeah, it's got some little ones there. And here, the sweet pea has done just what I wanted it to, which is grown up the stump of the fern there, which is good. So that's a nectarine tree. That's the main nectarine tree, neither of which have produced fruit, which I think is because of the leaf curl issue. Another orange tree there. And we have the good old cafe au lait, which is taking up a lot of space here now. It's growing out nicely. Another apple tree. And another apple tree. This is where I did have a whole bunch of the lettuce, and I've sort of pulled those out and they can just sit there and provide a bit of cover for the ground. And then the oft forgotten about area at the back of the garage. These pallets and things didn't actually do much in terms of stopping the growth. I do have probably just visible down there, I think it's a button-up pumpkin slash squash there. We'll see if that grows. I'll have to tackle this bit again at some point. But for now, that will do. And that's the garden at the end of January 2024. Thank you for watching and happy growing.